Gentlemen, it's your boy John returning again. So I hope you watched part one. You'll probably hear from part one. I split the video in two because I didn't want it to be too long. Hopefully this video is going to be shorter than the other one. So last video we recapped on why the human condition is essentially insane and why it's mad and why you're mad. So don't bother and try and fight madness with madness, because it won't work. You will go round and round in a circle, because if you try not to be anxious, you're going to become anxious about trying not to be anxious. And then you're going to be anxious about trying not to be anxious, about trying not to be anxious. And this is called the vicious cycle of the healthy human mind. But it's not healthy at all. It's absolutely insane. So I'm going to release the creme de la creme of how you outwit the mind without really outwitting the mind at all. And that's by using the mind's worst enemy, the body. The mind hates the body. And I'll tell you why. Because right now the mind thinks that it's the master, the king. The mind thinks that he's the king. I control you. I control everything, man. I control you, your thoughts, your emotions. You do fuck all, bro. And he's talking to the body, mind you. He's like, you don't do anything. Look at you, you fucking flesh. But the mind forgets that the flesh has the heart. I think that's an important thing. It has all the blood. It has the organs to support life. I mean, if I take away some of your organs or I shoot an artery, you're dead. Yeah, the body's pretty important because the body's the vehicle. The body's the machine that transports the mind. And like I said, everything that appears to be separate is really the same. It's really part of the same thing. So the body and the mind are really actually part of the same thing, which is you, the organism. So the body isn't separate to the mind. They're both very connected. In fact, the Buddhists call it the body-mind. So the way we, in the West especially, the way we get out of the mind and stop the mind from its crazy manipulative strategies that it uses to control you, essentially, through dousing negative emotion here and dousing an anxious one here and then giving you a bit of a goody-goody here and then immediately taking it away and fucking throwing fear on the backside, which is, you know, how the mind works, is brilliant. But in order not to be a brain slave, which is what Elliot Halsey calls it in one of his videos, you have to get into the body. You have to get into the body. I advocate fully for physicalness over anything mental right now, because you've got enough mental agility. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, bro. Don't worry about intellectual intelligence. Your mind has enough of that to last for another few lifetimes. You need to develop the body. You need to develop. You got to develop the mind and the body and the connection between the two. And the only way you can do that is through physical activity. Okay? Our ancient ancestors knew this. That's why physical activity was very important. And that's why depression happens to people nowadays, because we're not physically active anymore. We're stagnant. We're at home all day. We're watching TV and sitting on the couch and watching Netflix and playing video games and watching porn. It's a shit life, bro. It's a shit life, trust me. So you don't want to live like that. Move. The first way you get out of your mind and offer a catharsis of this trapped energy that's in your body to allow it to freely move, and then for you to actually meditate, which is simply being aware, man. Meditation is about being aware, being conscious. It's not about trying to be in this moment and focus on the breath, pardon me, and do all these crazy mind games. Meditation is about being aware, and that's it. Being relaxed, being aware. That's it. It's not effort. When your mind is neurotic, you can't do that. Don't even try and pretend to do that, because your mind will take you in for even more of a ride. So, what you must do is engage in physical workouts every fucking day, dude. For me, what I do is I obviously do weightlifting, okay? It's part of my bodybuilding program, but it's also part of my mental program. Both are connected. The mind develops alongside the body. So I do weights, the real fucking heavy compound lifts, like squats, deadlifts, benches. This shit will destroy the central nervous system, in the sense of just tax the fuck out of it, and all your pent up agitated energy, that frustration, all of that will just be released in these lifts. And you will feel, after the lift is over, this catharsis, this opening of release of energy. It may manifest as emotion, it may manifest as thought, it may manifest just as relaxation in the body. Who knows how it comes for you? But all I do know is it's a very real thing. Okay, so that's number one. You can do it through weightlifting, but any sort of physical exercise will do. A jog, a run, a sprint, you know, whatever you be creative. You can figure out a way of doing it. Okay, anything physical to get the body in the mind, to just connect the two. Okay, because you need the catharsis, because you won't be able to stop the mind otherwise. It will just keep going and going and going and going and going. Another way you can do it is through, of course, bioenergetic exercises. Okay, there's a whole bunch of these in a book by Alexander Lowen, who is the founder and author of bioenergetics. You can also check that out on Elliot Holz's channel. He's got a bunch of videos about bioenergetics and bringing the body and the mind together. And of course, you've got Osho's dynamic meditation, which essentially is everything that I've said, physical movement, but he combines it with chaotic breathing, a sort of dance, a cathartic release of emotion in the body, and of course a 10-minute silence. Okay, just you be silent, you don't say anything, don't say a word. The point of all of these exercises, anyway, we can call them all you want, but the point of these exercises is simply to just get the body moving, because you need a catharsis, you need a release. All that energy is pent up and stored inside your body. You need to release it, and you can't do that through the mind. Okay, so guys, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed these two videos. This is what I've been practicing for the last few days, because I went through a bit of a hiatus. I went through a bit of a crazy period where just my thoughts went crazy, my emotions, my sleeping pattern was fucked, so that probably had a lot to do with it as well. But I was trying to meditate and nothing was working, so I just decided to do a whole day of just physical work. I ran multiple times during that day. I did a very heavy weightlifting session. I went walking, I talked to a lot of people, and by the end of the day I was drained, I was finished. But also I was very relaxed, and the relaxation has carried on to the second day, because it's just a decluttering of all of the bullshit in the mind. It just all got decluttered, and the mind dealt with it, dealt with the emotion, dealt with the energy, and just let it go. And now I feel like a different man. I just feel like I'm completely more content, more present, and more calmer, and more just in the moment, very in tune with the moment, very much inside the sensory experience of what's going on. It really does feel like at times that I am what I'm seeing. Like there's no difference between the seer and what I'm seeing. At times, not always. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful, and let me know how it goes for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.